Okay, so we're back from holiday, and it's time to get on with content. And by content, I mean letting other people do it for me, and see if the Intact released a video literally the day I came back. So, and if it's the most poetic thing imaginable, it's a Star Citizen video, which if we all know, Todd Howard has made a perfect game that has no issues with it whatsoever. And I can only imagine that Seath is about to show us exactly how beautifully created and made Star Citizen is. Twitch people, please say hello to the YouTube people. And YouTube people, please stop slacking and get into my Twitch channel so I can have some self-validation that I'm a decent content creator that has an audience that cares about what I do. Okay, thanks. Take it away, Seth!
With the help of a booster pack and, of course, low gravity, humanity has spread across the stars in their multitudes
like these
of
nuts.
diverse races and cultures. The Red Guard,
I don't know, guys. Like, I've seen so much bad about Star Citizen. I honestly don't know whether I should play it or not. Like, literally, my only understanding of Star Citizen at this point is pronouns! And the fact that apparently it's got more loading screens that would be required than it would be to require to load in my titty physics. So, I don't know. Is it worth it? Especially considering there's other... Sorry, Starfield. My apologies. Starfield. Star Citizen is the better version of Starfield. Why do they both begin with Star? It's like they're trying to confuse me on purpose.
Populate the vast expanse of space. Naturally, we never did find a solution for automation. So in the future, the only career paths are space pirate with a voice filter,
so Starfield is what happens when AI
gets
goes out of hand.
Send children away with teary eyes, knowing full well their offspring will grow up to become murderous bandits before putting on their own helmets and shooting up the 7-Eleven.
So when are we all just going to agree that
still has no game.
Anything
that
Bethesda makes
is already here, Star
is just
Sisters,
a
the best game
quantifiable way of us knowing that
ever
Todd Howard is trying to inject his own
and there's no competition.
irrefutably lack of character into his video games.
Unskippable gay sex scene.
What?
Starfield, a masterpiece.
Sorry, I blinked and missed the unskippable
with A10 eyes. Starfield wins Game of the Year for their food models alone.
Oh shit!
Just look at the grease on that sausage. That's the
Damn. The grease on that glizzy puts Food Wars to shame. Sheesh!
on that sausage. That's the difference
That's a
ray
greasy
tracing
sausage,
makes
man.
in a game like this, which runs buttery smooth on my 4090, pushing a blazingly fast 17 frames a second.
Oh my god, it's such a like quintessential Bethesda thing. The second Bethesda release a game, instantaneously the entirety of the internet have to mod a way to spawn infinite numbers of cheese and watermelons in just to try and crash the engine. Actually, and this is like something I've heard, right? This game is apparently, it runs like duty, which is hysterical considering the ad that we just, the video that just came out for Star Citizen showing a completely immersive world with no cuts loading screens is ridiculous.
Since, according to the science, the human eye can only see 24 frames a second. Sometimes my saves get corrupted and I lose progress. But in my deep unhappiness, I realize I get to have those unforgettable experiences all over again.
Guys, clearly, listen, if your eyes are only gonna, if you think your eyes are only capable of seeing 24 frames a second, then clearly you just need to upgrade the graphics driver in your brain. Like, if you're still running the baseline internal hardware graphics card your brain comes with at birth, I'm sorry, my dudes. You clearly just have not been keeping up with the hardware. Guys, you just got to download more RAM. It's that simple. And nut. Yeah, nutting also helps a lot with that.
That we are Sisyphus, pushing the boulder forever uphill. For in the struggle,
why is there a
we
whale
find
in that?
meaning.
Okay,
Ask
just
not what Todd Howard can do for you, but instead what you can do for Todd Howard. A good game has memorable
You know what? If this was
characters,
any
but
other
an
game developer,
game
seeing these kind of
is
bugs
one
would be
where
like
you
a
don't
sign
remember
of
a single person at all.
Would be a
Starfield
sign
is to roleplay what
of terrible
dementia
game
is to the
design and
elderly.
quality.
And now,
but this is just the Bethesda seal of approval. This is Todd Howard's mark of quality, and you wouldn't expect anything less from a Bethesda game.
Displate.
Displate? Oh, displate. I was waffling and completely missed that this was a shameless promotion.
Displate is a one-of-a-kind metal poster designed to capture your unique passions.
I will allow you
but
to run your ads on my channel.
I hear you cry. I've already got my passions captured.
You've had one advertisement, yes, but now you get secondary advertisements by osmosis on my channel.
Have fun.
You're welcome. You're the only person I'll let you do this
to.
to.
Out, finding the right size poster frame, and of course, mounting the damn thing. Say goodbye to the hassle with Displate. All you have to do.
Wait, why does he have footage of me in my room trying to decorate? The fuck? I did not give you permission to use my my real world as footage, Seth. I thought we talked about this! Seth!
Open it up, stick on the magnets, and oh hey, we're
Titties.
done. Displate has a vast array of high-quality official art to choose from, and they're always expanding their collections. Check out my top picks. We've got Dark Souls,
to have my
Mortal
titties on a
Kombat, Sonic, and of course, Skyrim.
Plate my titties
Todd,
to your face.
We trust. And if you're not a gamer, that's fine too. Displate has posters for every passion. Cars, ducks, Elon Musk. You want it? They've got it. Just think, you could have any one of these at your door in less than a week, and on your wall in less than a minute.
Maybe I should get sponsored by Displate. I mean, getting my tits on your wall in less than a week would be the quickest way imaginable. Why would you need to pay for a flight ticket when you can just have a Displate on your wall?
Visit displate.com/SethZeneTech or use code Seth for up to 40%
Displate.
off on
If you ever want to
all
sponsor
designs.
a degenerate
Personally,
succubus
you'll
who's
never see me with a paper poster ever again. I'm filing for divorce, taking the kids, and using Displate for all my future wall decorating needs. The strongest skill in this game, following tradition, is persuasion, which lets you walk away from the last fight by saying, "What if we don't?" This system works by stringing random sentences together with a cadence of a crackhead until the recipient gets visibly uncomfortable and
Starfield looks
something
shit.
that Highfleet would shamelessly steal.
Like, you can
the
make
true purpose
sci-fi
of
games that
persuasion,
look
however,
good.
is to gaslight companions. Sarah is strongly opposed to the harm of innocent people. So,
like, just because it's a sci-fi future game
execution,
doesn't mean it has to look like somebody sucked all the color out of the world and made it look like it was a layer of dirt was put on everything. Like, I don't know about you guys, this looks like ass. Like, Outer World and No Man's Sky? I mean, I know they're a bit more cartoony and everything, but even other hyper-realistic sci-fi future games look nice. I don't know, this just looks stupid. It looks like everything's just dirty and grubby, and it just looks like Fallout, but without the post-apocalypse happening. I don't know, Bethesda just ain't been making good shit recently, I guess.
Mutilate someone's cranium. She screams at me.
Also, has there been a single thing Bethesda's released in the last decade that hasn't been garbage on launch?
I'm not sure there's anything you can say at this point. As strange as that sounds, I suppose that's possible. Look, I realize things out here can be rough.
Conversation
so
logic
I'm going
trees
to let this go.
Never make sense and
For
are completely
now.
arbitrary.
Then I do it again.
I accept who you are. I'm just not sure I can travel with you on this path you've chosen.
Are you
this
serious?
Is single-handedly the most entertaining thing in this game.
Just try to be more careful in the future.
Yeah, that's... You know what? Once again, that's the Bethesda seal of quality right there.
Find yourself traveling alone. I am not going to help you murder you and I.
The second.
Okay, you know what? Bethesda games, they might have scuff. They might not be the best polished of games, but they will always make you laugh with how fucking scuffed they are.
Most entertaining thing in this game is joining the pirate faction as a double agent, and in the process, becoming a triple agent. I have chosen to join the war on terror. On the side of terror, I can play entire missions without shooting a single shot, because guess what? Half the entire game is now friendly to me. I watch caravans get lit up with the same interest as a youth in the projects witnessing a drive-by. The streets give, and the streets take.
I love Seth's vocabulary with this kind of stuff.
Than the plot
he has such a fanatic way with
Skyrim in space. You must become Starborn to use the magical Fusro dot to kill Parthenax, who in this case is other Starborn
like,
from
if
other
I could
universes
sexually identify as Seth
to go to another universe and start
Actually, no, I do.
Plus.
Seth is
Multiverse
basically my
theory
mind
is appealing
gremlin.
to fans of Rick and Morty
Seth
because it implies the existence of a dimension
the way
where you
think.
haven't been molested. There's copium online that there's differences between universes and no run is the same. Yes, one place in the game changes. The emissary is always whoever dies
Is that Payday with a guy running around with a gun whilst looking at TikTok?
Between universes.
We live in a society.
And no run is the same. Yes, one place in the game changes. The emissary is always whoever dies in your current run, and there's a universe where Sarah is a potted plant.
What?
Objectively, this is the best universe because she doesn't talk. Yet, I heard some people even romanced this creature. If you find such dialogue captivating, I recommend intimacy with a drywall. My favorite part of the story was attending a funeral, only to interrupt it by starting a firefight.
See,
Almost
Seth
everyone
is one of
involved
those
is an
unfiltered
essential
people
NPC,
that
so
says
the shootout
the
will
loud
never
things,
end.
sorry, the quiet
Question,
things
when we
loud
have an infinite
and the
amount of
loud things
universes,
louder.
that means we have no
Which is the way all of us
consequences.
should live,
Anything
really.
we do can be undone by walking through a portal. So why can't we kill essential NPCs? Why even have a setting if you're not going to make use of it? This aggravates me to no end because everyone I want to shoot
consequence
is a
for your
higher entity
actions,
made of
why
light.
is there
For
any
example, there's a side quest where a
issue or
200-year-old
worry
ship
in
from
this
Earth
world?
developed before
It's like
the invention
having
of a
time travel in a game, or it's like, what was that game years and years ago that literally had a mechanic where you could MacGuffin out your choices? Like, there's no weight to anything if you're able to reverse terrible decisions you've made. Like, in games like this, if you make a decision that adversely affects your gameplay, you should fucking live with it. Like, don't just pussy out and be like, no, I don't want to live with that. Oh, man, I knew I shouldn't have slept with the neighbor's cat. Oh, fuck.
Craft drive has reached
Or
the
save
planet
scumming,
resort
yes.
of Paradiso. You negotiate
At least
on their
save
behalf
scumming
and are
isn't
given
a
three
gameplay
options.
mechanic. Like,
One, send
games
every
that have
call
literal mechanics that reverse your decisions just feels like a pussy way out.
to work as an indentured slave for the corporation. 2, pay out of pocket for a grav drive and send them to bother someone else. Or 3, eliminate the last practicing Jew in the universe. I'm not making this up. There's a colonist on board who's preserved Hebrew rabbinical teachings. And the third option is the corporation asking you to destroy the ship. What the Austrian painter started,
Oh my
Todd
God.
will finish. What?
Seth! That's the quiet bit that you said. Well, let's play the age-old game of, is this Seath video monetized? Let's find out, shall we? Let's see, because it's a very fun game to find out whether Seath has restrained himself enough to make his videos monetized or not. And let's have a guess. I'm gonna say no. Oh, who would have guessed it? Who would have guessed? Making a comment about the Holocaust would have caused your video to be demonetized. Wowee. Probably why he does sponsorship, so he can get it. He can actually say this kind of stuff without risk of not getting paid.
What is this quest design? You present me with 3 terrible options, and my immediate response is to shoot up the board of directors. But I can't, because I'm not allowed to. Because the talent in this company has...
Also, I feel as though this just feels like discount Cyberpunk. Or, yeah, Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk? Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. This just feels like Cyberpunk 20... Like, the setting. Corporations? Cybernetics? Spaceships, kind of? Like, the whole theme of the thing just feels very cyberpunky, only not as good.
Dried up and
Which
left
I realize the irony
a long
considering
time
how
ago,
Cyberpunk
but it doesn't
launched,
matter
but now
because
Cyberpunk
Bethesda
being a
spits out a
testament of
game every
quality
few years
is
for their
just
target
baffles my
audience. Dads. I get it. You have 2 kids, you're in your mid-30s, and you have time for exactly 3 games a year. I don't judge. We're all busy. But this game is immune to criticism because the people you're arguing with don't have that much time or investment. They see a crater, they soy pog, and then they leave. That's why if somebody defends this game, don't give them a hard time. They have it hard enough already. Between,
I mean, that is
beating their
actually a
spouse
very
and
basic
their children,
thing to
and they
say.
still say,
At the end of the day, it's your...
Did
that guy just suplex a chat? You know, it's a Seath video. Of course he did. I suppose that is kind of the thing at the end of the day. No one can really chastise you for playing the games you want to play. If you're enjoying them, that's all that matters, right? But objectively speaking, we are still allowed to point out when a game is shit. In our eyes. You might enjoy it and that's cool. That's gravy, baby. But if a game is objectively shit, I'm gonna say it's objectively shit. And Bethesda have yet to convince me that they're able to release a game that isn't objectively shit on launch.
Gameplay. This game features challenging and intriguing puzzles such as fit the shape into the shaped hole and replace the battery. Considering the majority of Xbox players have never replaced a
it's called the
smoke
Bethesda
alarm,
market
this
quality, exactly.
is a novel concept, as it requires higher abstraction to deduce that the ubiquitous chirp in the hallway
same revenue.
is in some way.
Fuck! Okay, hands up in the chat. Does anybody else get a fight or flight response whenever they hear that noise? Like, horrendously PTSD. I hear that noise and I get a twitch up my back. Because I once had a fire alarm in one of my houses that no matter how many times I've replaced the battery, would constantly do this. But every time I replaced the battery, it would have a delay period before it would start doing it again. So I'd replug the thing and I'd be like, oh, it's fixed now. And then literally like 2 days later, boop! Without fail. And the problem is I didn't own the house. I was renting it at the time. So I wasn't allowed to get rid of the fire alarm until my landlord did it for me. So I had to put up with a defective fire alarm for like 6 months of just a beep. And it would even do it at night.
Quantum connected to the set of Duracell batteries you hold in your hand. Clearly, I didn't pay enough attention during character creation, as once I finished the game, I was very surprised to hear my character's voice.
You made it. I hope you're enjoying the view.
Not like I missed anything. All the perks are garbage. Wanted is one of 2 perks that actually does anything, because you get bounty hunters chasing you. The other being kid stuff, which gives Americans the experience of 2 loving parents that aren't divorced. For the nation holding the world record in broken homes, a stable family is science
like
fiction.
living in the UK,
I spent a bunch of time modding guns, only to find out that guns don't scale whatsoever. Attachments on lower level weapons are a waste of...
You know, like from like a, like, if you were to look at Starfield from like a bare bones point of view, it does look kind of cool. Like, it's got some interesting concepts and designs and everything. But when you look at the intricacy of everything, there's just such a lack of polish. Like, I've seen so many videos of people going around the world with, like, guns in public places. Nobody gives a fuck. The amount of bugs and issues and lack of, like, fine-tuning. Like, I can forgive certain things. But if there's not at least an attempt given to at least make things feel like there's a bit of polish, then it just kind of, I don't know, just baffles me a little bit.
Time. Let me tell you how you're actually supposed to do it. You fly into a level 75 zone, but instead of being insta-killed, you cast Creator's Piece, which makes enemies drop their guns. You bring them back,
kidding
tweak
me?
them on a workbench, and now you no longer have to complain about bullet sponges. Personally, I enjoy...
Are you fucking... I mean, I love... That's kind of funny. Like, if you're ingenious enough to do it and figure that shit out, cool. But that seems like a really cheesy way to abuse the game mechanics, and maybe an oversight of game mechanics in general.
Shipbuilding. Yes.
But you know what? I actually like games that reward you for being creative and subverting the baseline of how the game is supposed to be played. Like, I love having the ability to make a decision that might not be construed as normal and get rewarded for it. Like, being diversive and trying not to follow the mold of the gameplay, getting rewarded for that, it reminds me so much of the way games should be played. Like, be rewarded for being adventurous.
Follow ship exploit, but I didn't really need it, because all I ever do is one-shot the engine
like
with electromagnetic and board their ship, after which I disarm them with Creator's Piece and individually fistfight the entire crew. It's really fun, and if I cast Parallel Self, I can roleplay as if we're having a civil dispute at the Bangladeshi border. I found out companions don't use ammunition, which is convenient, because for some reason this game lets you craft everything except ammunition, some of which is highly specific and not sold by most vendors. In contrast...
Really? Surely ammunition would be the most fundamental thing you would want to be able to craft, right? Bethesda!
Crafting ingredients are sold by the dozen, trivializing their collection and destroying any incentive you had to find them yourself. So, I thought it would be interesting to try make my outposts self-sufficient, using only the resources I could find. It took me 2
See,
full days
I like
before
that
I found
idea.
a planetary
I love
source
the more
of sealant.
hardcore element
For
of just being
reference, this is a
self-sufficient.
common organic ingredient
I suppose that's the thing that
necessary
Bethesda
for
games
most
have always been
structures.
very
And
good
where did
at.
I find it? Middle of nowhere
Is the
on a toxic
immersiveness of the
biome,
game.
meaning I needed to reach the bottom of a science tree and have free tiers into planetary habitation before I could
It seems like
make
as more time's
planetary
going by, they
habitation.
keep
So,
adding
in case
things
you're ever
that
tempted to do what
remove
I did,
that, like,
don't. I remember once I
self-dependency.
saw a Live Leaks video of some Chinese farmers throwing pigs into an open pit and setting them on fire with kerosene. Starfield allows you to not only recreate this video, but use it for infinite experience. What I did was set up several alien breeding facilities and boxed them in. Then, I built a macro script to throw incendiary grenades at set intervals, firebombing all the cows, waiting for them to respawn, only to firebomb them again. I can leave my desk and come back several levels higher.
Seth.
Generally, however, Outpost development is a hellish experience, and that's because the game has no system to track how much you need and what you need. Your best bet for memorizing a recipe is using pen and paper. The alternative
Yes, because of course Todd Howard doesn't want to give you anything that will shorten your time playing their games.
to that is jumping across load screens, walking to the vendor, buying what you assume is enough, returning to the outpost, only to find out you're missing like 2 adhesive.
Listen, I could sit here talking ad nauseum
this game
about
is an
how
exercise in how many
busted this
load
game
screens
is
can
at
you
points.
tolerate before
But you know
choosing
what?
to end it all.
It's a video
Nobody ever
game.
got that
You
Steam
electively
refund.
choose
We
to
spent
play it.
2 whole hours docking and
surprised if people
undocking.
electively
There's a
choose
lot
to
of
then
these
refund it 5
transitional
minutes in.
animations, and it's not that they're painfully goddamn
What I find,
slow,
okay,
it's that
what
I
I
can't
find
skip
really scummy is Bethesda is notorious for now designing their games in a way that makes you have as much fluff and filler for the first couple of hours so that you cannot get to the refund point. So that by the time you realize how shit the game actually is, you've spent more than 2 hours playing. Guess you can't refund anymore. Oh no. Shame that. We're sorry. We're sorry we made a game that is objectively terrible, but didn't make you realize that until a point where you're not able to refund it anymore. We're sorry that we basically make you guys fix the game for us because we're so terrible at actually creating anything that anything we make requires you to mod it to make it playable. We're sorry.
Them. I understand that this is a small indie
I will say I've not
company
bought a
and
Bethesda
maybe
game
resources
in
are
probably
stretched
about
thin between the
7
award-winning
years.
dialogue and the NPCs that hit you with that fluoride stare. But when the solution is so simple and obvious, you can't help but ask, what's going on at Bethesda? Despite having no access to the construction set, the modding community...
That is a very valid question. Bethesda's not even a small studio, and yet they put out one game every 8 years. And it feels like that the game they put out that took them 8 years was something that another studio could have made in 1. I know there's a lot of bureaucratical nonsense and whatever, but there must be some wild hooker parties happening at Bethesda for them to have such a slow cadence of content release. I mean, Christ! Lest we forget that No Man's Sky and there's a bunch of other studios that have released games that are infinitely higher quality and better produced than Starfield that are made by companies that have a 1/10 of the budget.
has managed to...
And you can't put it all on the engine. I know their engine is shite, but they electively choose to use it, so...
fix many of the issues. However, even if they do release the toolset 6 months down the line, I don't really trust this company to not screw me over. Remember, the only reason
re-releasing
we don't have
Skyrim
paid
5
mods
times in a
is
year does
because
not
of
quantify
pushback.
as a content
Believe me,
release.
They'll try again.
No Man's
The
Sky
only
was
potential
garbage.
redemption
Yes.
of this game is the release.
Was. And the difference being was that No Man's Sky was made by a team of, I think it was 15 people, as opposed to Bethesda's 200. And it's that notion that studios that have passion and actually care. I mean, we talked about this before. Yes, there's a little bit of bureaucratical nonsense where there's too many cogs in the wheel, and when you've got too many hands in the pie, it's going to take harder to get that cream. Sure, absolutely. And when you have a smaller company that's able to have less cogs, yes, they're going to be able to just work directly without worrying about having to appease a stockholder. But still, the fact that there are studios out there that make objectively better games and obviously better games with less effort and less people kind of shows there's obviously, like, no one can deny that there is obviously something wrong at Bethesda.
release of a full construction set, because the only way the fans could save this game is to wipe it clean and make something else. Look, I figured it out. I know why I'm so angry. I'm not angry at the game. It's
I'm
not
not
going
to try and work it out.
I'm
All I
angry
know is
because I
that
paid
there's issues.
$100 for it. The king of the chess club has done it again. Each time I tell myself, no, not this time. But I already know. Todd's gonna tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies.
And you know you're
each
going to buy it
time,
anyway.
I listen. I understand I've said some polarizing...
Hey, I didn't realize that Citizen Tac had taken Buzzlink's entire script about being a Bethesda stand and put it into the video.
things, but in truth, I just needed a video because I signed a lot of contracts while drunk. So don't take anything I say seriously. It's all bait.
You know
but
what? It's very true. If I wanted to make some quick, easy money, I'd make a hate video about Starfield. Because for me, yes, I do not like this game. I do not think it's very good. But if you guys enjoy it, if you think this game's good, cool. Good for you. Have a good one. But just keep in mind, not everyone thinks that. In fact, the vast majority of people don't think that. If you're enjoying yourself, cool. But when the vast majority of people are saying there's issues, it's, yeah, sure, there's maybe a little bit of jumping on the hate bandwagon negativity echo chamber nonsense for the sake of clout. But when enough voices are speaking, maybe it's trying to say something.
Isn't. What if it's actually
I would say it's fine. It's probably a fine game.
Shit opinion.
I'm just
As
not willing
always,
to spend my money on it.
More content to come because I'm legally obligated. A warm thanks to the many
yeah,
members of the
we all have a
Merchants
Citizen
Guild
Tag video
generously
here.
funding.
If you ever want to have a content creator that is unafraid to just speak his mind and be unapologetically unfiltered, that's a Seth video for you. And I like this. I like this a lot.